Today I'm just gonna do Twitch, and then I'll just push it to YouTube. Could do is this
Damn, I
here.
had my bosses working to cover for me. It's so funny. Yes, work overtime because you made me work. Well, not overtime, but like overwork because you made me work way more than I was supposed to.
Your boss, yeah.
Yeah, for 3 weeks. So 3 days is enough for that, and then we can just start working together again. Hooray!
How to become pink.
Yeah, let me see if I can watch you become pink. I see it. Yeah.
That's not pink.
Cool. Well, I
Fine,
mean,
I'll
it's
be purple.
well, what do you see? Because depending on what you see, I can tell you about the color wheel.
Well,
I see.
I didn't put extra colors. I'm using the default colors, but
Oh,
this color I'm using is Violet Void, but there's a pink in here called Putrid Pink, but it's more like a red.
the reason why it looks like that is because it's blending the shade over the equipment that you have. So the reason it looks red is because it's gold.
Oh, I mean, this
Over
works.
gold. Oh, what's that one?
I just increased the saturation.
Yeah.
Wait, so is that... Yeah, the pink just becomes white because it's more red. Maddening magenta? I kind of like that. Now I'm a pink Birdman, and you're a regular femboy.
What is this secondary color on my thing? I don't know what it's secondary color.
Oh, do you not have one? Your armor might not have one.
Wait, how'd you change the saturation?
The intensities.
That's what I thought. Okay, I just need to make sure that was it. Oh no. Technically, this character is cyan. And then the intensity should be...
Oh god. Yeah, that's good. I feel like if you go too bright, then it hurts.
So...
Wait, how would this look with my lantern?
This is
Is it
the
gonna blind
value.
me?
This is not the... This is not the...
Like, yeah, it's weird. It's like saturation, but it's like the like how pink or like how colorful something.
No, it's not saturation. It's not saturation. This is value. This is how light and dark the colors are.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And saturation makes it more like pastel or
Yeah.
like opaque. Oh my god, what the fuck is that?
Cerulean amber.
Wait, but how did you do that to yourself?
I
Did you just
have the intensity on all of them at 10.
max? Oh my god.
That blue is not blue. That is like a purple blue.
Why is this... Why is my secondary weapon blue?
But not your
What?
primary. That's
Not the
funny.
primary. Oh, because literally it is. It's almost like you said the keywords. Wait, no, actually.
I'll go with this one. We'll go together.
Okay, together.
See?
Yeah.
Alright, do you want to do DLC or you want to do base game stuff?
Where are we? Did I hear someone go meow in the background?
You know what's funny? Hunter said the same shit when I used to play with him. I in
But,
Elden
like I just
Ring.
heard, "Ew." Like it sounded like that. Like real quick. I thought that was the game for a second.
Is it me? I'm wondering if it's me. Because Hunter was saying the same thing when we were playing COD, and I was like, what the fuck are you hearing?
I can record it. Recording. Oh, it's happening. Okay, good. Well, since we're back, uh, in non Russian times, we can
Russian
start
times.
we can start clearing things.
Yeah.
We can go to Jarberg. You wanna go to Jarberg? We hardly ever go there.
Yeah.
All right.
Ooh, hardest shite.
And then I also wanted to do the unsightly catacombs randomly. They just caught my eye,
Which ones are
ironically.
those?
The ones, here, I'll put a mark on the map. It's in Altus and it's bordering the mountain
Oh.
or the volcano. It's in that lake area in the mountain. I mean, in the in Altus Plateau, where the
Oh.
rooms are where you fight the Tibia Mariner or Marina. Can we stop lagging every time I open up the damn map, please?
Oh, you didn't get rid of the map for Goblin, right? That's why that
Did
happened.
I get rid of it? Yeah.
Yeah, that's also partially why I got rid of it. Like, the map lag.
Every time I open this damn map.
I love how I'm just bubblegum.
Basically.
I'm literally just...
And I'm extra.
Yeah. Uh. Damn, you schmoo.
Okay. I kind of just...
Oh, and
Okay.
tried to kill me. Oh.
Game killed me.
Oh. Okay, that rock, it like pushes you down.
Hmm.
I think then you jump to the roof, right?
Yeah, you jumped to the roof.
Race acquired.
Yes. I have to go and get my runes now because I figured that I wouldn't die on the way down. Which I
Yep.
was doing pretty well at getting down up until my horse decided to land.
Yeah,
At a
you
point
were
where if I decided to
schmoovin'.
turn around,
I turned my
I
camera
would just
for
die.
1 second. You were already all the way down.
Yeah, pretty much. And then I just miss one step, and then I die because, of course.
Thanks, water bottle. Thank. Fucking flip the straw up and it just squirts water all on my Need a tissue.
4 plus, 4 plus, 4 plus,
Squidward.
yeah.
Is Torrent just black? Did he change colors again?
No, mine is still blue. Yours is also
Oh,
blue.
he's blue. He's just dark as fuck on my screen.
It's hard for you to tell because you're so bright pink.
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting.
Oh, Snow Witch hat.
Which reminds me, we have Ronnie's doll.
Yeah. We can stuff her in the jar now.
Fill that jar with a tarnished seed.
Such a dumb meme.
So terrible. Just downright horrendous. God.
All these crafting mats
Yeah.
that no one uses because it's dumb.
Battle Mage. Battle Mage, Man-Childs.
True.
Hello, love. Are you potentate? Soap and kukri.
Wow.
Is a toll. And the tips is toll. Right. I guess all this stuff is to talk to the kid.
Yeah. Alexander Jr. Oh, I can't talk to her.
You can't?
No, I guess because you touched the grace, so I'll let you do
yeah,
it.
my bad. Nice. Slick, slidey hands to be a potentate.
So
Okay,
it's-
so you said come back and visit me, so I guess now we can just touch grace.
yeah.
Also, is it a he, him, or a she, her?
I can't tell, honestly.
The first non-binary character in FromSoft.
True. At least it's not forced down my throat.
I'm happy you came by. Good. Have you noticed? I asked, and they said you.
Said you'd be
Well, who
welcome, yeah.
knows? Go on. Who
Oh,
knows?
that's it? Okay, well.
Yeah, I think
that all?
touch grace and talk to them again.
Alright. Oh, hello, dogs.
It's been raining all day.
Say, Cuz,
Yeah.
I asked so. If you see he's big.
Big and
Uncle
strong.
home is off. I suppose that's so. I'm at, then I'll have to leave. Uncle Alex, my home is. I suppose that's.
That's it. Whoa, big leg spike.
I guess now we have to do the Alexander quest. Specifically, we didn't go to Farm Missoula yet.
Yeah. Did we even like find Alexander at Mount Gelmir?
Okay, I remember we smacked him at the thing. We saw him at the
At the
festival,
festival,
right?
and that was it, yeah.
and now we just need to see him in the. That's interesting. How I decided to go to Jarberg first. So then I guess we just go to the volcano now, right? And see
Yeah,
him
but
there.
we gotta go like from the Fort Laud side,
Right. So that's.
which I don't even think
Is-
we went around that way.
You know, it's so interesting. That's right around where the Unsightly Catacombs is.
Yeah, it
So
is.
this is all one linear path that I just laid out in like 2.5 seconds that I even think about it.
K's
I wasn't even
galaxy
thinking about
brain.
this. Yeah.
Fuck.
I had a whole bunch of cookies to
Why-
myself during that convention.
Nice.
Huh?
What about the gummy bears? Did they survive?
Oh no, they survived until like day 3, and then I decided to eat the rest of them to put them in the bag with the gummy bears in them.
Ah,
I basically made space for the cookies from the gummy bears. So I kind of forced myself to eat them all.
yeah.
No,
Why-
let me kill Val, please.
There we go. This fucking dog was aggroing on you when you were nowhere near it, so it dies.
Of course. Oh wait, let me check my chat and see all the stupid bot messages that are there.
How can I make it where Reshade doesn't like hijack me being able to alt tab? I hate.
Alright, Elden Ring is now on my left screen. Which means that the refresh rates are worse, but that's okay.
Yeah. This engine is so optimized though, like not even funny. Like, cause just for shits and giggles, the other day I was like, I'm gonna run the frame rate like uncapped, and on my fucking strong ass computer, it can't even go past 140 FPS. Oh, nice. I still have lightning bolts.
Yes! Got my iframes, bitch.
Uh-huh.
Can't do shit. Oh, he landed inside the rat.
Shut up.
Shut up! None of these drop like that?
Val trying so hard to get me.
Who's Val in this case? I didn't see the Val.
Skeleton.
I'm at the unsightly catacombs, flash ruins, or perfumer ruins.
Alright, let me just kill this clean rot and giant.
Okay. Oh, jeez. That's not what I meant to use. That's okay.
Oh, killed something that dropped that.
Yeah. I think they dropped some perfume bottle.
And none of these guys dropped
Ash
anything.
of Wall of Sparks.
Oh, nice. Funny how that's there.
That's interesting. Yeah, I was gonna say, it's interesting how it's right there. It was at the table that I just accidentally broke, my bad. I tried to jump on the table first. Monk's Flame Blade.
Yes, because our characters are so strong that jumping on anything explodes.
Oh. Or that too. Oh, is that you?
Yeah.
Yes, it was. That's everything.
But it was on a table. I guess here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you missed the chest.
I missed the chest?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a chest.
Oh, it's
What the hell? I can hardly see it.
it's Ansbach Scythe.
Oh, interesting. That's an interesting name too. Obsidian Lamina. Lamina.
Sounds like a Kingdom Hearts like organization name for something.
Yeah, it sounds super complex. Garbage.
Yeah. Hey, get this blue item. This blue item is very good painting.
Yeah, the certainly catacombs is just like down here, right?
Yeah. Will this fall kill me? Well.
I remember it like being really specific.
I can't open it. Oh, because of this.
Yeah.
But
Okay, Roy, I'm gonna need to end the stream. Not end the stream, but like close the room
oh,
real quick because this is driving me insane.
wait, what
I'm
happened?
getting really annoyed.
Oh, the map thing.
The map, yeah, it's pissing me off.
Yeah, yeah. Just delete everything from the folder and then just put the regulation.bin. That's all you need.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll do that. I forgot to skip the game again before I post it. Oh well.
Oh well. Autosave is generous. Wait, hang on. I'll be back because I heard them order something.
Okay. What? Ilo, oh my god. I forgot what files were in the folder. Because I just remember downloading the the regulation.bin and everything else just... Hold on, let's see.
All right, I'm back.
Oh, hey Roy. I don't know which files are the ones that contain the map mod because I remember that I just downloaded the regulation.bin file and everything else just kind of came up.
Go to the folder that you have pointed in Rando, like where it says
So,
under like your game directory. It's there.
dumps, anti-cheat, dies, modern GT, mods, movie DLC, SD, seamless co-op. Which one is it?
No,
These
no,
those are these two?
like inside the Rando folder,
Oh,
or not
okay,
the
okay.
folder, the program. I mean, like tells you where you have the mod located.
All right. Okay, hang on a second. Mod merge 67916. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I see. So just delete the entire. Wait, do I just unpin the what's it called?
Delete all the folders and just keep
The pointer.
the regulation.bin.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Thank you. I wonder if it is just the world map comparing that's this issue.
Yeah, I mean, you'll lose like the other mod that you kind of like, where it like tells you exact stats for like talismans and stuff, but
That's fine.
yeah.
That's fine.
Like
Okay.
the regulation bin just has my like range changes. You should also be able to buff any weapon. I don't know why it wasn't working for you last time.
I don't think I tried it. It's fine though.
What? Oh yeah, Corin fucking. I think he's all the way in the mountaintop somewhere now. Like an asshole.
Dead.
What happened?
I said, I think he's dead.
I hope not. We didn't even get his bell bearing.
Well,
I wanted to get
what the fuck?
Black Flame Blade,
What the hell?
but
I have these weird ass green bars. What?
green bars.
What the fuck is this? Hang on. Let me show you.
You might have to. Did you click run with set seed?
Yeah. Do I have to redo it maybe?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Wait, let me. I want to see. Oh, what the fuck? Oh, yeah. Rerun it with set seed. If it does it again, though, I know what the issue is.
Okay. Also, these apparently just have the menus. So I'm hoping that you don't have to waste things again.
Oh God, let me go over there. I have the grace there. That's weird. Let me see. If the doors are closed, then GG. No, they're open.
Oh.
Yeah, if it does it again, I know how to fix it.
Okay.
That is the most recent regulation bin that I had sent, right? Like a little bit before you left.
I'm pretty sure it was 1202 or not 1202, but December 2nd.
What do you...
Actually, I saw a regulation.bin that was December 2nd, but this one in the folder
Gentle Duck, what's up?
says November 18th.
And Val, wow, I can't even send a message while knock knock? Oh, fuck you, Val. What is this mod? It's a randomizer. If you mean why am I pink, it's the Earth Tree Dies mod. Fuck, didn't I sent...
Wait, where is it?
I could have sworn I sent the regulation.bin like not too long ago, like maybe like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, you did. There's one that's December 2nd, 2024.
Yeah.
Oh, did that one need to be in the folder?
Yeah, you probably gotta replace it.
Oh, so that might explain why all this other shit was not working correctly.
Yeah, could be. I just wanted to not... Going back to the void. Yeah, go ahead, lurk. You fuck. What are you... Oh, you're cleaning your paws. I just hear him going... Like but he's a big dog, so just fucking licking his paws.
Oh yeah.
Pink
Invalid
man.
game exe cannot find regulation game in game directly. Game directory. Oh, I see. Wait. What?
Right, but you just put it in a folder and pointed your randomizer to it, right?
Well, no. Do I just have to copy the same regulation.bin to the folder?
I mean, you could
So
just
I had it
point
in.
the randomizer to it. It doesn't really matter. I was just trying to make
I
it
had the.
easier.
I had the regulation.bin file in the game directory the whole time, and then I saw a regulation.bin in the mod folder, which was in my randomizer folder, which is not in the game folder at all.
Oh, please tell me you didn't touch the game folder one.
I did, but I put it back. So really, it should be fine.
I'll send this one. This is just the regular one in the game folder, just in case you like deleted it or something.
No, I just hit undo. It should be fine.
Oh, yeah, the one in your like wherever you have your folder for the mod. Yeah, that one needs to be replaced.
Okay, well, I just copied that over essentially.
Oh, yeah.
I copied the one that was in my.
And what
game
about
folder.
the camera angle? Oh, that's also a mod that I have. It's on Nexus. It's called I think like Demon Souls camera preset or something like that.
Okay, it looks like it's
Fine now?
everything looks yeah.
Nice. Oh, thanks. Yeah, no problem. And then obviously I have a ultra wide mod, so pretty normal. Damn, bro, you cleaning your paw man hard. Hey, you alright? Is that the paw you cut up? Cause you're a dummy? Can you buff weapons and stuff? Oh, you mean. Good luck on the stream, dude. Thank you. Gentle Duck. That's a funny name.
God damn it. I muted on Discord.
Yeah, I was like, oh, he's muted.
Sorry, I didn't mean to mute. I was gonna say I opened the room up,
Oh, okay.
but um, I did the thing where I moved the game screen over, but I hit Alt instead of the command button, so that muted me by hitting Shift and Command
Oh,
and Alt.
oh boy. So I really have to waste 2 more, huh?
Sorry about that.
It's fine. We have so many of them anyway.
That's true. We have a ton.
Wait, so Kay, do you see this then? Wait,
What, the pink?
oh, not the pink. Wait, do you see this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, now you should be able to.
So,
Which means now you could be like fire holy damage or something.
hmm. So, if I take, um, if I take this sword, right, which is the Milady, and what do I do on it? I put. What did you do for that? Did you put like the grease on, or did you do
Yeah,
it in?
I
Oh,
used the grease. I don't
you have
have
to
any.
equip that, right?
Yeah, I don't have any incantations. That's why. Well, any of the ones I want.
Okay. It doesn't seem like it'll let me.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's
Huh?
because I deleted the mods, right?
Maybe I'll. You know what I'll do? I'll send like the my regulation bin again, just in case it got like voided. Troubleshooting every time. No one's fault really.
Yeah. I mean, it's okay. I'll just make do without it.
There you go.
Oh God, which one did I just download? Fuck.
I
Okay.
can wait. I know what I can do. Edit message.
No, it's okay. I already did it. I already got
Clean.
it.
Edit. Modded.
Can I replace the regulation bin while I'm in the middle of the game?
No.
Oh,
I
shit.
wish.
In that case, I'm just gonna put it in the mod folder first, and then copy it over. Okay. There you go.
What? Yep. And after we finish this, you can quickly change. Oh. Haha, you don't have your DLC like overpowered nonsense.
Oh.
He just kept spamming his fireballs at me, but I tanked it.
Mm-hmm. Yeesh. Oh, damn.
Yeah. I need to put up Dex more, I feel. Or maybe this thing just doesn't hit hard.
Fuck.
Borf. Oh, I tried to stop
We
him.
met up with each other.
Oh, you jumped down. That was personal, bet. Somewhere a heavy door has opened. The fucking worm. Damn.
Bum, bum. So that's where the save point is, but where are all the other items that I missed? Let's see. Actually, I think that's it. I didn't miss any items, did I?
Oh, that's cool. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't miss any items. Alright.
Oh, nice. We can just body the boss.
Yep.
Oh, I missed this item down here.
Oops.
Just a dagger.
Wait, oh yeah.
Try here.
Right. Because then we go, yeah. Daggett. I should have known it was Daggett.
Get back. No, you don't get to G's. Oh wow, that's funny.
Pretty good.
Sniped the fuck out of that shade before it was able to poison.
Or spit,
Yeah,
what's it called? String shot at anybody.
because it was already getting ready
Yeah.
to.
Yep.
Wait, hold on. I think food is here.
Okay, it's time to check the thing out.
Oh yeah. I'll be back.
Okay. looks like everything's good, so let me just start. First, add DLL. In order, first it's ERC, then it's Art Tools, then it's the dives. DLL. Okay, let's see. Weird. Okay, it looks like I can now. Good. Alright, good. Everything works as intended. We're good to go. Alright.
I'm gonna clean my plate and then get back on.
Okay. He's dead. Hilarious. Real quick, I'm also gonna get some water because I need some water to wake myself up. Oh God. Okay.
All right, now I'm back. No more, no more interruptions.
Yep, now we can just play.
Yeah.
This mic works.
Oh, it worked for you now?
Yeah.
Nice. Now Kay can be a buff god.
Even more buff than I already was.
Yeah.
I think that's where we need to go, right? Where I put that little pin.
I don't see it.
It's like in the northeastern side of the lake. Like there should be a hole. If you follow me, there should be a way to get to the volcano on that side.
Yeah. Actually, we have the Seathwater River race, which is like the start of that point.
Oh right, yeah. Yeah, let me go down. Mission complete. Valiant.
Bat is dead.
We killed this.
Yeah, I killed them. Oh, I didn't realize they had an item though. I was too far away from it.
Wait, what is this?
This is the cave.
Sage's cave?
Yeah.
I don't really remember this cave, but sure, why not?
You want to do it?
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Oh, is this hype
Oh, this
cave?
is Hype Cave.
Oh, hello.
Go home. Go back. It is. Garbage.
Man, we haven't went in here in a while.
We haven't been in here in Sages. We haven't been in here. Oh. Wow, did you see him get defeated?
Can Marth stop grabbing me?
Was Marth on the ground?
Yes, he was right here, right?
Yeah.
He was right here. I move out of his way. I'm all the way over here. Attacks the air and it teleports me into his grab. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, he was just patiently waiting. It was really funny. And then I was like, okay, well, see ya. I was trying to just get to the chest to see what was in them.
Like, I'll clip it later because that's on par with the fucking Madness Swollen Grape just grabbing me even though I parried his ass.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I think we got a Prince of Death item here once before. Like in that exact area.
I feel like we've had, yeah. Okay.
The fuck? Open? I was about to say.
Page.
So many age things in here.
Ooh.
I'm pressing button.
Nice. Oh. Time to
Aren't
body.
there 2 ways down here?
Oh, it's 2 different bosses.
Right, that's what I meant.
Why? Speaking of rune bears, what? Why me though? Like,
I have no clue.
guess what? Now you get debuffed for being annoying.
Oh, thank God it actually lagged me doing it.
Oh, but speaking of rune bears, I made another bingo card because I forgot to turn on like weapons don't require like stats and stuff. And so I made a new bingo card and I hate it. Like one of them is literally like defeat a rune bear with your fist. It's like I'm
You
not
mean with fist or with your bare fist?
bare fist.
Oh God.
I was like, I'm not doing that. Then I have
mean,
another
it's
one where it's
something
just
better.
like kill a rune bear.
Come on, baby.
But yeah, I like that random mod. Like from the little bit I've played of it. I just wish it didn't only do bingo mode right now. Oh God, are they both? Oh,
Oh no. Hang on a second. Okay.
no, yeah, we. Oh well, you can just kill them. I thought it was 2
Me too.
Black Knife assassins. Damn. Body. That's a mod that gotta make you bright like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a dye mod. I'm
Wow.
pink.
Oh.
The light though is the lantern that we have.
So this way doesn't take us anywhere, right?
No. To go like where you.
We have to actually go up and around.
Yeah, but we have the warp. I said that shit all types of wrong. I'm smacked. Yeah. Yeah, we'll play COD later after I'm done here.
Oh, is that Hunter?
No, it's my other friend.
Your pod friend. Okay.
Well, just general friend. But we recently played COD because he wanted a FPS to play. And we tried some free shitty one that's supposed to be like Battlefield, and that shit was pure ass.
Huh.
An hour of my life I'll never get back. Alright, they'll just text me on Discord when you're ready. I'm watching TV. Alright. I'll fall asleep again, please.
Where do we go first? Left or right? Right.
The oh, the
Yeah,
cave is
I'm-
up here. Yeah. Missed me. I'm up again. I got you. And Delta Force was pure ass. Yeah, it was garbage.
How dare you not stagger?
Oh, it's Val. Come here, Val.
Yeah. Don't stagger that bullshit. How dare you? Ooh, Val dropped an item.
What?
White pinion.
Makes sense.
Yeah. It's usually just garbage. Although I did get a monk's sword earlier.
What
Fire
is
monk's
that?
sword,
Oh, that's Dumpy Man from the DLC.
Dump. Oh, I wanted to stab him in the back. Dump? Oh my god, you could stab him in the back? What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh my god.
Dumpy.
He went "Roar" when you killed him.
Alright, another cave in 2.5 seconds. You ready to do this bullshit?
Hold on, I gotta spit.
Okay. In the meantime. 20,000.
Alright. Also, you're very laggy.
I'm lagging.
In game, at least.
Let's see. 3,000.
Leave the water key. Let's see, so... I wish it didn't take a million runes to level up.
Yeah. I think all I need to level up now is my strength. Or was it my faith? No, my vigor needs to be at 50. Let's do that first.
Wait, my cannon scales with strength? Oh my god.
I thought that's what you were doing the whole time.
Well, I stopped at 45 strength. I've been doing dex because of the fucking black knife. I mean, not black knife, the godskin peeler. I guess I could keep doing strength though. No reason not to.
Alright.
Pretty sure that's the mod though, because normally I think you like once you get the
Good.
stats, it doesn't scale.
Look at
What is?
everything.
Oh god, he's vibrating.
Get the fuck out, yeah.
Nice.
Oh, it's just garbage and there's nothing.
Wow.
Okay. No item?
Like at least.
Do I have the...
Oh, it's this one, right? Poison.
Oh, I do have cleanse me. Okay, good.
Lucky. I didn't equip it. Is that a rat or a bird?
Red Val. I was gonna say you're gonna have to be designated sniper for this.
Yeah. Oh my god, stamina. There we go. Anything else? I can't lock on to anything. Oh!
So,
This
what?
fucker just fell from the ceiling. Die. Imp head. It's Chaz.
What the fuck?
What? This valve just fell from the ceiling.
Yeah. Oh god! No. Jump scare room.
Oh god. Some Resident
I'm like,
Evil
what is
shit.
this red mass? And then I was like, oh shit.
And it's blocking the way. Ugh.
Yeah, hang on
I
a
mean-
second.
Yeah, let me get explosive rounds.
Be careful. Wow.
Wow, he reaches that far.
Yes. Oh my god. Watch. Watch the power. Oh my god.
Bro, you can't reach that far. You can't.
Logic indicates no. Elden Ring indicates yes. I'm going to die.
I missed. Got him.
Jeez, I can't stand this enemy.
Yeah.
All this for a terrible item. There's one corner.
One single.
Give me
There's a rune bear too? Oh no.
How did it hurt? Okay, that's it.
Oh, the fucking wall blocked my shot. Damn.
Can't stand when these guys don't stagger.
I might. Should I just leave him alive so you can kill him?
If you want, I'm just gonna keep spamming at you.
Yeah. I just shot him in the fucking face because he wouldn't stop.
Just doesn't stop and doesn't fucking stagger ever. Like I'm hitting you with two things very quickly.
Really?
I think that someone will flinch at that, but no, you just not attack me.
Fuck off. God.
What was that? Oh, it was that guy?
Yeah, and there's a fucking Burger King man spamming.
Let me see if I can get him. Oh, I was gonna say, let me see if I can get him with the... Oh, watch out. Oh, that is the Burger King.
Yeah, it's the annoying one too.
Done. That's this bitch.
The item over here. Oh my god, rivers of blood.
Well, no.
Not
Let
plus
me just
10.
use my invisible arcane 90 stat.
Literally.
What if my arcane, what if my ability to find shit is just my holdover from that one seed?
Is it this way to get out to where he was?
You know, I really don't know. I know this is the wrong way, but I think it is the way you want.
Yeah, not this time. Your friend tried again, Kay. He really tried.
Friend? Oh, this is the grab guy?
Yeah. Right.
I have no idea where they went. They're both just gone. Blocked them out of existence.
Oh, Malachi's helmet. That shouldn't be gold, though. 5.
Oh wait, behind you.
Yeah, I saw it.
Wait, we haven't gone. Wait a second.
Yeah.
That's it. They're all dead.
Executioner's Great Axe plus 25.
Oh, nice.
An enemy dropped it. Wasn't
That
that,
must have been a DLC enemy.
wasn't that what I was using in the beginning? Because you gave it to
I
me?
think so.
Or was that the other
Yeah.
seed?
I know, I think that was a seed. For sure. Where did we just go?
Now we go this way. Anything else?
No, I don't think so.
Oh. Still
Nice
poison.
trap aim. Oh my god.
Oh my Jesus.
Oh, come on now again. white reed armor. Don't beat yourself up if you miss it.
He barked like he was under my table, but his bark is so loud it like fucking echoed in my ear.
Skinnies are
I got 5 heals. Oh, easy.
I feel like this is supposed to be here.
What? My arrow went through it. Dead. Barf. What, you were barking because you want to throw out the garbage? Oh, dumpy. Damn. Hitting both of us is
The
crazy.
raid snapped me behind him. Oh, why is he flop so fucking hard? He truly is dumpy. Knock this guy off his horse.
Nice.
Nice, bitch. Good.
Oh, fucking crap. Good. Bad dog.
Not today, motherfucker. Motherfuckers.
Hello, motherfucker. Extended hit bar.
Of course. I love them gold items.
I swear, we always get like a gold item or a blue item.
Yeah, around.
Oh my, jeez. I touched it for a split second and fucking got annihilated.
Yeah.
It was just like, hello, health bar, goodbye.
There's fucking me on the rock watching someone make like a sandwich or something, and then it just cuts to 2 men kissing, and he's like, "What?" But he doesn't say anything. He just does an eyebrow raise,
Yeah.
and then he looks back, like he tilts his head. It's so fucking funny. I've recently heard that song without the meme for once. Oh my god, it's over. I'm so dead.
Who the fuck is it? Oh. See.
Die. I've been to my whim.
I can't kill the Val that's over there. Now he's dead.
Wow. I can't believe I didn't get caught by that too.
All ads must die.
Yep.
Yup.
Big dude. Yes.
Annihilate.
Charge. Oh. Game. Nice shot.
Also, okay, you know what's funny?
Nice shot.
I did not know Keanu Reeves was gonna voice Shadow.
You didn't know?
No.
When did you find out?
When the fucking trailer came on TV like 2 days ago.
Oh my god.
I was
thought I
like,
told
well,
you.
why? I feel like you probably did and I just forgot.
Also, this is the first time we've ever fought against Blight outside of the thing.
Yeah.
That was really funny. He couldn't do anything. It was
He
just
got bullied up the
attack,
stairs.
shot. Attack, shot. Attack, boom.
He's like, why won't you let me attack? Yeah. Oh, nice. Do you like? Do you like the subtitles?
This is literally now.
He literally wouldn't stop. I guess because we were far away.
Yeah, far enough away.
Oh, he has a white
What
item.
is he even talking about?
Egon's. Well, it is Val. Egon's helm.
What is this dude talking about? They'll never find me, the rich fools.
I don't know. Like, I always try to figure him out. I'm like, well, like, why is he back there? And then he mentions Volcano Manor. So I guess he was being hunted.
But he said he'll be back in Volcano Man. You know, why would he want to go back?
I don't know, unless he's one of Rykard's subordinates. Before he became the Serpent. I'm the Serpent King's family. We killed them, right?
Yours.
Oh yeah, we killed them.
Yeah, we did.
I forgot what bullshit bosses it was, but it was something annoying.
Oh, it was like gargoyles and something. Was it the last seed? I'm pretty sure it was the seed though. We'll have to look back on our episode list.
Yeah. Oh,
That was like episode 11.
that was a big lag spike. Computer has been doing that lately, and not just in Elden Ring. But I don't know if I have a program that's fucking me over, or maybe it's dusty.
But to be fair, I do have multiple things open.
Yeah, but it wasn't like Elden Ring. It was like my whole computer like froze for a second. What is going on there? Oh, it's Meat Man. Wham. Are you good?
I'm fine. I'm just looking at my other uploads to make sure that.
Oh my god, I killed Val before you were able to see him, damn.
Oh,
He was
whoops.
he was running in circles.
Hans Boxman shits. Alright, where'd you go? Did you go Jack and Jill up the hill? Or...
I did.
Okay.
Killing
Yeah, just
all
need to
the
check
ads.
YouTube.
Oh, to make sure it's actually uploading.
Yeah, well, I have time because it was saying it had 0 days left on Twitch.
Oh yeah, smart.
I already downloaded it. I just need to actually confirm the download. Well, actually, no, I did confirm the download, didn't I?
Yeah, I need to download that VOD from last week. That's like 5 minutes just to add it to the YouTube VOD. All right. What bullshit boss is here? Who is that? Oh, it's not even a boss. Well, never mind. It is, but like, it's small guy. I wonder. I kill him. What? He voided. Oh, come on. Just let me snipe him, game.
Should I be concerned?
No, you're fine. This fucking dragonfly needs to fuck off. There we go.
I just heard, ha, ha.
I was trying to snipe him, but it wouldn't let me.
Is this the... Yes, it is. Who the fuck are you?
I didn't hit him. Wow.
I was about to stand there and that.
Oh my god, bro. Stop. You attacked like 10 times. Fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah, get that poison.
That's the fat godskin attack.
Yes. Yes. Oh, no blame. Did you fucking get, asshole? Gargoyles, black.
Draconic power.
Oh, interesting. It's another spell for us.
Hopefully a good one.
Let's throw
Alexander
Sandy
just
in.
grunting.
Oh, mountain of fire! Bake me in your flames!
Ah, good sir.
I know.
What business might I hardly think you're here to tempt your... I've been take it. You know,
Thank you.
I won't be able. Perhaps I'll head as an old saying above the lofty cloud. Perhaps an
Alright,
old
now he's
above
gonna
the-
fuck off and go to Farm Missoula.
Perhaps
Yeah.
an old above the lofty.
Thank you, Alexander.
Wow. Isn't that the best Pearl Drake talisman?
For a heavy, yeah.
For heavy, okay.
Makes it just guarding give you the benefits of the Pearl Drake talisman.
Oh, I see.
I bonked your wife. I just cracked her on the head with a big ass cannon. Pretty sure that's gotta hurt.
Yeah. Good.
Oh my. Why is all this good shit over here?
I figured there'd be good shit around. Awkward no time moment. Where we jump over the damn coffin instead of in it.
Ow. Oh, clean rot. The rat was in the house. What the fuck?
True.
Yeah,
Is it not an item over here?
I think it's on the roof.
I jumped on the roof. I didn't see anything.
Oh no, it's in the other house.
Yeah, this is root resin and some bullshit enemy. I can attack you through the wall. Thorn whip that I got from this enemy.
Wow. Is it a proper drop? No,
I'm pretty sure it's
just K-Luck.
yeah. I'm pressing the button to get off the damn hordes.
Yeah, that's
Stop
been
missing.
happening a lot lately. Oh, what was the enemy?
A crab.
Of course. Is there a beetle around here? Oh, it's just a healing one. Jesus. There's one noise outside and he just barked.
Regal Omen Band.
Oh my. K.
Yeah. Dum dum.
He can't jump from that corner. Oops, sorry, I touched the grease.
It's okay. Just realized that our colors are most like Cosmo and Wonder.
Very hot.
Yeah. Can I get off the damn horse? In a respectable fashion, thanks. Oh, who's that? What? Hi.
What? What? I'm gonna throw you out of my room, bro. I don't want to hear you barking every 2 seconds. I love how I take no damage from that.
Yeah.
What? That man uses fucking instant transmission, I swear.
So many enemies. Just landed in Boston, said one of my friends. Just got off the plane, says the high friend. And he
Nice.
posted a gif of a rap of a mouse burping. Have you seen that fucking video? I don't think you
No.
have. It's I even know what it was until like Chad showed it to me, but just some fucking video of a fucking mouse burping.
Wait, but rats can't burp?
Yes, they can.
What? No.
Yes, they can. Oh my god.
He's dark skinned.
He's dark skinned.
Yes. Be gone.
Oh no. Who's shooting at me?
How could I Google this? I thought they can't burp. Do rats burp? Oh, wait.
The Felly Loop puppet.
Yeah, no, it says rats can't burp.
Look up mouse burping meme.
Mouse burping. Why did I write it in all caps? Hilarious. Wait, no. I love how I type that and I just get a bunch of fucking TikTok results.
Oh god, I might be on TikTok as well.
Burping rat meme. What the fuck?
You get to hear it let out like a belch.
Nice try.
I'm shocked that it didn't actually hit you. There's so many enemies near you.
I want to play. Okay. What the fuck? That's nasty.
I know. I was like, ew. When I was showing it, I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, that's nasty.
But apparently they can't burp. So I'm like, what is?
It could be
It
like
doesn't look fake.
CGI'd or something.
I don't know. It doesn't look fake is the thing. It looks like an actual animal, like doing an animal thing. Because it has its mouth open.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot of garbage. But you know what?
Oh. Phew. Alright.
Alright, let me get the items around here.
Okay. I have to touch Grace because I need to talk to Azure.
Oh. Oh, because I broke it for you.
Yes.
Crazy how we still don't have a fix for that, at least. Why did I just randomly get a wooden shield?
Because that was Azure's item.
Oh. I love how the fucking knight or the tree sentinel was the boss and he aggroed from so far away.
I even see him.
I didn't either. He was just like, yeah, there's the boss here now.
I was so confused.
Bad. That's all bad. Fuck you, Val. Fuck you, Menfrio.
I guess we can just climb the tower from here now. I mean, climb the mountain from here.
I'm stuck on a black screen. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Where's the ladder?
I think it's all the way down here, right? Or is it by the fort area?
Otterman gay outfit. It's your favorite outfit. It's bubblegum, Val. Is it even on this side?
I guess what it was. Okay.
Oh no, we have to come from all the way on the other side with the bridge.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Can we get to it though from the rock? Get out, cub.
This one was just right around here. Maybe because I'm too tired I missed it.
Yeah. It's no, yeah, it's not over here. Can we get much higher? Why, Val? The One Piece is not real. They threw like 3 pots at you.
Yeah.
Hey, can we get to it from this rock? I know this takes us across. Oh yeah, we might be able to.
Rock.
All-knowing gauntlets. I'm pretty sure that's the full set.
Rock. Oh, okay, that's what I thought. I thought there was some way to cross over here. I was like, I thought we fell down from it, or I thought we came around from over here.
You
Yeah,
die
and
from
then
this?
fall down
Oh.
this. I guess we can do this and call it a day.
Kay is tired.
Yeah. No, this fucking dragonfly. Please. Did you just walk on it?
Yeah, it's dead.
You walked in midair.
What?
I swear I saw you walking in midair.
Oh, at least now we'll be able to play tomorrow. And you won't be like, oh, I can't because this. And I have to prep.
Oh, yeah. It was snowing in the clouds as we descended, so that looked cool as hell. Oh, shit. Hang on a second. Let me ask him if my phone took a video.
Oh.
Hmm. Sound from nonsense. Hang on a second. Go, 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 go.
Oh, you went down already? Oh.
Yeah. Dumbasses.
I'm getting hit by this. Good.
What?
What?
You're such a bitch for that.
He did the fucking switch up of a
You're such a
lifetime.
bitch. Get out of here. Oh! I
Oh
didn't
my
realize.
God.
Okay.
Oh, he's getting hit.
Get out the way. Oh, he's so dead.
What?
Hurry! Sheva! 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 Hurry! Hurry! Sheva! Sheva! Wait, why are you going past?
I want him to die.
Sheva! 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 Hurry! Hurry!
How did I not get hit by
Dude.
that?
Stop switching up on me like that. Oh my god.
Oh, you. Okay, thank you.
God, okay. Woo! Alright, he's gonna switch what?
Wow, for
Shocking.
once he didn't.
Let's try.
was hands.
Huh?
It was hands.
It was him? I thought it was a scorpion spider.
No, it was hands. I killed it.
Oh, I was about to say. Oh god, I missed. I didn't realize which side was his front. Nice try. Didn't he have an arrow?
Only the ones in the DLC do. You see this dead guy on the floor? What the heck?
Yeah. Oh my god, that was so close.
Bro, stop. He keeps doing the switch up.
Oh, he turned to you!
You're such a
What a
fucking
bitch! Why would you do that?
cocksucker. Like,
Why would he do that?
he was like, I think I will go
Super
down
item.
now.
It's not worth it. Oh, come on, man.
It's not worth it.
It's guys' careers.
Oh my. Now he's gonna get stuck because he's a fucking asshole.
Oh, or that can happen again.
What?
The game can crash.
It crashed? Oh. It was like, nah, no more fun.
So now where am I gonna be?
Gonna
Is it
spawn
open
you
for me?
dying again, I bet.
Yeah. Boing. With 0 runes.
Yep.
That way I get absolutely nothing. And my 98,000 are gone. Oh no, they're here. Okay, I opened the room back up.
Alright. Doing it back. And also, okay, in case you think it's like the rando of why we get random crashes, no, it's just seamless. Because
Oh, I'm sure.
the fucking VTuber that I was watching, because that one random guy. Oh, look, my game just crashed.
I had a feeling you wouldn't be too far behind.
But yeah, they're just playing through the regular game with no mods, and they get the same issues, like just random ass crashes. I'm just like, yeah, that's seamless. It's a piece of shit mod.
Oh yeah. All right. In that case, I'll have to close the room, right?
Probably.
All right. Oh, come on, man. You bitch ass worm.
Oh, the exploding one, right?
I didn't even know it was there.
I forgot to tell you about it.
All right.
Alright,
It's back open.
Yep.
So I spawned in there essentially.
I spawned into something dying.
Yeah, it was the big troll.
Good.
All right, back to where we were. nice today. The thing is down.
And you gotta try and get your runes back.
Yep.
He's coming back.
I'm sure. I'm trapped for a second. Or not. Or I am.
I'll try and bait him to come all the way down.
Let's see. Nope.
Oh, he's gonna camp, huh?
Yep.
Wow.
Get up. Okay. I got it. Stop camping, bitch, and maybe you can actually kill somebody. No, something. Another Val. What's going on? Why there's so many Vals around?
Who knows?
No DLC specifically.
Black Wolf Mask. Light.
What happened? Oh, nice. You got on it?
Yeah, but like I landed on the head and I took damage.
What the fuck? So is this thing gonna come down and kill me or what?
No, it looks like he's retarded down, stuck up here.
Good.
Yep. I'm gonna just get the crippled legs, I guess.
Hmm.
I'm dead.
Just
Yeah.
spam. Did you drink the thing?
No. I don't have it equipped. Oh, you said just shield spam? Oh, does it like tank some of the damage guarding?
No. Health spam. Just drink.
Oh, I couldn't. It ran over me twice. I got one out and then it just hit me twice. I hope this one isn't stuck. He is. I
any way to
literally
destroy-
cannot pass. Does he have a hurt box? I'm scared.
Yeah, let me try and kill the one at the
Oh.
bottom.
He doesn't. He's just staying there. Okay.
Why
You're a
he just-
fucker. You're a fucker. Holy shit. Holy shit. No way.
Wow.
He was really just standing there like,
What the hell? And now the other one is just sitting at the bottom.
Oh my god.
It's just sitting. Oh, there it is. I'm like, it's just sitting there, not doing anything.
Like, such an asshole for that. Is he gonna come all the way down, or?
So what am I supposed to do on this current now that I have it running all the way down?
It just takes you to the end. Yeah,
I feel like we missed stuff though.
we did.
Oh wait, we missed stuff from the first chariot though, but not the second.
Yeah.
Okay, not too bad.
Can I actually get my runes? Holy shit. Is he just stuck going up and down there?
Who? The lava pit one?
Yeah.
Oh no, he just switched to the. What the hell?
What happened? What? I
He
hear
just ran
him.
up the wall. He just ran up the wall and ascended. Oh, now he's going back up towards the slope. You taking damage from something? The lava?
Yeah, I'm in the lava.
He is trying to kill you. But he can't. So he's running down. Why did FromSoft make the game like this?
I don't know.
Make these enemies like this.
Let's see what's in the chest. Pickled turtleneck and golden rune too.
Yeah, well, they can keep those.
Yeah.
Is there a way for you to open the door?
Open the door.
Yeah.
Oh,
that'd be-
yeah, I was gonna say, can you not open it? Oh, the item right here. Smithing stone 5. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, actually go to bed at a decent time today, though.
Oh yeah.
You broke out of the 4 a.m. habit.
Technically I was still going to bed around that time. Because I was in like this time zone. I'm going to bed at 3.
Did you Scarlet Rot it? That's funny.
I did?
Yes.
How?
Isn't it a Scarlet Rot plan? What the fuck?
No, I think that one was Madman.
Oh,
But I still Scarlet Rot it with that spell? Damn.
yeah.
I just hit it once.
Because its health bar was taking tick damage.
Wow. Oh, and double wow, the game crashed again. Well, I mean, we're gonna end it anyways.
Yeah. He's standing there menacingly. Well, at least we sorted out all the issues.
True. We did. We have. I just hope that it won't fuck up and like crash in the future like that. Oh, well, we'll see.
Yeah.
All right.
There is one.
Me.
Yeah. There's one thing I want to check. What new spell did we get from Dragon Communion?
Oh yeah.
I think it was Litany of Proper Death. Unless we already had that one. But I feel like we did not. Oh. Need to end my stream. What will you do now, Kay? Are you gonna take a nap?
Sleep. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take a nap.
Jet lag.
Yeah, I have to because I woke up too early and I didn't even really get a whole